Here we are. This is our first in-person Loam Lander podcast.
With you and I.
I know.
It is.
The rest of them we've done all on Zoom.
I'm tired of Zoom.
I am too. This is nice. I think that this is going to be 15 or 16 or something in there, but I don't know. I can't believe that we've been this consistent. We've missed a couple weeks, but honestly, we've been pretty consistent all the way throughout.
And I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun just to hang out and talk biking and talk family and talk life. And, you know, it's so much more than just airbags.
Right.
And it's kind of what this podcast will be about. It's kind of more of what we've been up to. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Loam Lander is always on our mind, and we're always up to Loam Lander. But there's been so much more going on as of late.
Right. It's always fun in these new, exciting adventures. Like, Loam Lander to me has been an exciting adventure, but I often, like any adventure, sometimes you have to take a step away from it for a second to just kind of get back into the groove of it.
Yeah.
At least that's what these past couple weeks have been for us. So our family just got back from Maine, which was pretty fun. It was I don't know. It was nice to be totally away from everything. It's also really hard. Who was I was talking to? One of my friends yesterday, and I was telling him that, you know, the nice thing about going to Maine is that you're totally unplugged. And the worst thing about going to Maine is you're totally unplugged. And like the first few days, it's like, holy cow, I am so withdrawled. And then by the end of it, I could care less. Like I couldn't even, it was just too much work for me to walk to the part of the camp that we could actually get cell service. So it is good and bad.
It looked beautiful.
It's always beautiful.
Cool little property it looked like.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's been, you know, just one of those fun spots for us to go. And what's nice is Tatum's been going since she was, born, really. Her dad was going since he was born. His parents were going since they were born. And then his grandparents were kind of that generation that kind of started midway through. Or maybe it was great-grandparents, somewhere in there. It's crazy. Like, wow. So it's been, and all the same lake. The only difference is Tatum's dad went to a cabin or a house, basically, that's like next door. And then his grandparents bought the place that we use now. So it's all the same. I mean, it's crazy. It's just super, super, super fun.
And then you got it was a long vacation too, wasn't it?
Yeah, we went for 2 weeks, which was really nice. I know.
That would be nice.
It was. And I have such an amazing team in my other business, and they were able to just do everything they needed to do, and they were just really awesome. So it was nice to get away. It's also hard to come back.
Yes. Why am I back?
Right. They functioned really well without me.
I didn't unplug for 2 weeks.
Oh, you got to unplug though.
I unplugged a little bit. So my wife Rhonda, who we're gonna get our wives on one of these podcasts here soon.
Too.
Rhonda and Tatum need to be on here. We're celebrating 16 years married, August 20th.
Congrats.
Her job is pretty much COVID. Mm-hmm. That's the best way of describing it.
Wow.
So she has not had any time off since COVID happened. And so she had scheduled time off. It was actually originally for Northwest Cup racing. Mm-hmm. And we chose not to use it that way and actually just kind of celebrate our anniversary together. And we shot up to Juneau, which is kind of cool and different. She's never been there. I've been there a handful of times, but it was literally just to get away, unplug, like you said. Mm-hmm. Neither of us brought our computers. Actually, no, I did bring my computer, but I never once opened it.
That's awesome. Probably had a threat that if you opened it, that trouble would be brewing. So
she didn't give that to me, but once I open my computer, I know I'm on the computer.
Right.
But it was more of just getting out and relax. We didn't have a true schedule while we were there. Mm-hmm. We had a couple small things that we wanted to do. For the most part, it's like, what are we doing today? Let's walk to the glacier. Let's go for a drive. Let's go get some really good halibut, which is amazing everywhere you go.
That's awesome.
And actually, a little food truck had the best halibut the whole time we were up there.
Isn't it, for us, when we go on vacation, especially like places we've never been, we find that we like the not cheapest food, but the most random spots the very best.
Yeah.
Like food trucks, or when we've gone to Hawaii a few times, we've always like gravitated to just kind of these little stuck in the back a corner of a mall complex, and it's like, oh, that's really what we like the best.
Yep. It's a better vibe. You get more of the culture. You get more of the locals. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to throw it out there. The last place we ate there was actually the worst halibut we had, which is way better than what we get here still.
Right.
But the last spot we stopped, we need to get more halibut. Mm-hmm. And we left. We're like, oh, it wasn't good the first one.
It was okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't that great.
It was way better than what we have here. Because here, it's not necessarily fresh. It's usually flash frozen, so it gets down here.
Right.
But it was getting away. It was just unplugging, getting away. There's been a lot going on just with life and busyness, and you and I both have some fun projects we're in the middle of or starting.
And I think we should talk about those a little bit on this podcast.
I think we should too, because that's taking up our time.
It is.
But it's taking up our conversations.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so how about we talk about yours?
Oh, well, project-wise, I mean,
We'll throw a picture up.
Yeah. I'm an endless project person, but I'm also a true 80%er. Like, I get a lot of my projects to 80%. And if Kevin walked around my front yard right now, he would notice that there's still stuff that we had not totally completed at our big, exciting event back in May that still is in the same position, not fully completed. But I'll get to it eventually.
It's a little bit further. I walked.
Yeah.
You're like at 86% right now.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit better.
You did the big cutout out front.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's getting closer. I was gonna plant grass and I didn't get it in soon enough, and we're at the point now where it's just gonna remain dirt until we get to the fall, and then I can kind of clean it up and plant the grass, and it'll grow because we'll have good rain and we'll be good that way. But yeah, right now it's kind of a mess. Anyway, so that's kind of what my deal is. I usually get to that 80% and then I get pretty, onto the next thing. Not saying that is that way with Loam Lander in any way, but so I've got this itch now to start a new project, and so we decided that we were going to build a trailer. So we started looking at just camp trailers, and honestly, this market is nuts. I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And so we couldn't find anything we wanted, at least anything I wanted to spend money on. And then we were kind of looking at toy haulers, but even those are crazy. And then we're just looking at enclosed trailers and do a build. And so that's where we're at. We're going to do a build. We bought a snowmobile trailer. It's 18 feet long, but it's a V-nose, so we get like an extra 4 feet if you go all the way to the point, which is pretty nice. And it's got a couple of drop-down doors. We're hopefully going to integrate well, but it's a bottom-up build, and that's fun. Like, it's super exciting, but it is a bottom-up build, and it's hard because I'd like to use it right now, but there's nothing to use. I mean, you can pull the trailer
really
around.
Cool space, very square, which is great for your build.
Right.
It's not like those Sprinter vans and everything else that everybody else is doing, where there's curves and rounds and everywhere. It's just a nice big square rectangle.
Yeah, and that's what's so nice about it. And it's really well built aluminum trailer. It's really stout, but also pretty light for what it is. And so we have pretty much the layout done. I'm waiting to figure out some freshwater and waste drain pan style of water tanks, which is unique because I'm trying to put them in places that none of them are really designed to go. So I'll probably have to go really custom, which there's nothing wrong with that, but whenever you go custom, that means it's going to be more expensive. And I'm trying to build it really cheap, as cheap as I possibly can, but still be nice, which is hard. I mean, it's all hard, but it's a fun project. But like I say, it's something I really want to have it done, but it's going to be a while.
So what is your goal? And I hate putting goals on projects because you get irritated and you're paying extra for shipping and you're doing whatever you need to do to get done, but what is your rough goal?
My rough goal is to have it usable, probably not done, but usable by the Northwest Cup race in September.
Second weekend of September.
Right. Which honestly at this point is going to be really hard to do. Especially if I can't get these water tanks figured out soon, over the next week.
Well, you would be able to at least use it for camping.
We could, but
throw cots in the back and
we could, absolutely.
And
today,
you still got your van,
right? Just throw stuff in it, and it would work. It would work fine that way.
Throw bikes in its big storage locker now.
Basically, yeah. And so we definitely could use it that way. And maybe that's something we would do. Is just throw some sleeping bags and stuff for the boys to sleep in. Use it as kind of that space we can get in and out of, but not necessarily have it as a full workable. Full working van trailer, although I'd like it to be there.
Yeah.
But my process of events is I really have to have those water tanks in first, because then I can put my subfloor back down, then I can insulate properly, and from that point I can build pretty fast. But it's I just feel like I'm kind of stuck. But we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things you just don't know until you get into it and see where it goes. But it'll get done. It'll be awesome. We just sold the tent last night, and so the van looks naked. It's like I was thinking about it last night. It's like your uncle or friend that's always had the mustache, and all of a sudden he shaves the mustache. It's like he still looks the same. He's still probably pretty cool, but He's missing his mustache.
Hey, it looks like a van. It's not Overland anymore.
Yeah, not as much. Not as much. So I'm going to have to get some big lights or something on it soon.
A lift kit.
Oh, that'd be so nice. Lift kit, four-wheel drive conversion. You know, for a while we were thinking we were going to sell this van, but we really like it. So I think we'll keep it for, well, till it dies, and hopefully that never happens.
And when it does, just buy a motor.
It's true. You just bought a motor.
I did.
That's awesome. So the Loambulance.
Yeah, so the Loambulance. I bought a 2003 Ford E450 ambulance.
That's so awesome.
I was very fortunate. I was searching for a long time, and my wife. It was actually Rhonda's idea. Let me rewind. Rhonda's idea a long time ago just to buy an ambulance and do this. And I was like, no, there's dead people. She's like, no, people don't die in the ambulance. They're taken.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but there's dead people.
But sometimes there are.
But it was her idea.
This one is like all fire.
Yes.
So it probably wasn't used that way, right?
Yeah, there's probably.
You don't know.
You know what? If I have a couple of ghosts, I have someone to talk to on the drive.
That's true.
So now I have friends.
Right. Well, it's better than talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not saying I do that.
Me too. It's just answering yourself to this problem.
Yes. We need full conversation.
Right.
So I was very fortunate. I was able to buy it from the scrap yard.
Nice.
So they, Gig Harbor Fire Department, Washington State. It has a bad motor. Mm-hmm. And so they gave it to the scrapyard. They were going to either scrap it or auction it off. I think they were going to scrap it just because the amount of aluminum that's in there, they would have made tons of money.
Right.
But I was able to buy it from the scrapyard for really cheap, knowing that it had motor issues. I was hoping that it wasn't as bad as it was.
Right.
And I pulled out the motor, which is a chore in itself in a van. And it was a mess. The motor's trashed.
Yeah.
So knowing I might get into that, another Rhonda told me so is I should just buy a motor up front, and I didn't. I was like, no, I'm going to save some money.
Right.
But I ended up buying a full motor from a Ford dealer down in Portland, and so I have a brand new 7.3 Power Stroke that's going in.
Sweet.
What's fun in this whole build process, and you know how it is too, and I'm a Volkswagen guy too from the past, so it's like everybody knows each other, they all wave, they help each other.
Right.
I'm on different forums, they answer questions, they help out, you should try this, and we're meeting friends along the way. So like Braun Ambulance, which is local, which is awesome, because that's where my ambulance was built. I became friends or acquaintances with a guy named Barry down there, and he's been sending me schematics of my ambulance. He has parts for us, actually.
Yeah.
He's been very helpful, and then we met Eric, who is Lost Bikes, not Lost Co., but Lost Bikes.
Yeah, you were telling me you went up and saw him this week.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he's going to be a great resource just for questions. He's going to be a great resource for building. Like, he's an amazing person. Lost Bikes is just a hobby of his, and he truly builds frames.
Wow.
So if you go there, it's really cool. I mean, it's a small shop, kind of, normal, dirty kind of shop. But along the wall are all the different frames that he's built. And some are broken in half, some are still work, but he had high pivots.
Wow.
This is 15 years ago, he had a high pivot bike.
Wow.
He has a carbon fiber bike with internal cable routing with tubes in there before that was a thing.
That's awesome.
It was really cool to see that, and like how far he was thinking ahead.
Right.
And it's from trial and error, right? He rides it and he breaks it, and
well, he's doing just like for himself and his friends, right?
He doesn't sell them.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to deal with the insurance claims and all that stuff. So it's pretty much, hey, I'll build you whatever you want, and then go ride it, go break it, and then we'll build another one. So he's playing with carbon fiber right now. He's doing a mix of carbon fiber and aluminum. Like he's just tinkering with a lot of stuff. And on top of that, he has an amazing van. And so I was able to go up there, and I bought his old shower from him that came right out of a Sprinter. That's going to go in the ambulance. A toilet. There's a handful of things. But it was just, if it was just a sale, it would have been a 5-10 minute conversation. But I think I hung up there for an hour and a half, and we just talked about builds and talked about bikes, and just, it was a great time. So definitely hit up Eric at Lost Bikes. If you ever get up there, he's actually right next to Lost Co., but they're not connected.
That's funny.
Just a cool dude.
Yeah.
Van questions, everything. Like, he's a really good guy.
Isn't it interesting, at least my experience, is that the mountain bike community and the van lifestyle community they feel very similar.
They're very intertwined.
Absolutely, 100%. Like, very outdoor oriented. If they don't mountain bike, they hike, or they do something else outdoors.
Yep.
But like, just the interactions, like the attitudes, everything seems to be very similar.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it comes, at least from my perspective, is a lot of these people are self-builders, just like a lot of mountain bikers. They're not building their bikes themselves, but trying to figure out how to ride better, how to do whatever themselves. And they'll use different tools in different situations. Like, our tool is airbags, but there's just so many of those things that integrate so well. I don't know. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And they're fun to talk to, especially when you have like-minded interests. It's just so much more fun to chat. I mean, that's where you and I get down some crazy rabbit holes.
Oh my God.
All the time. Like it's not.
Hour and a half
just,
later, we're still on the phone.
Yeah, and it's not like just a once in a while. It seems like every single time we chat, we're like, okay, well here's where this is. But what about this, which is completely different than the conversation where we began.
There's been times where I'm like, hey, I need to call Brendan, and Rhonda will say, I'll see you in a half hour.
Right.
And she's just being funny, but it's kind of true.
Oh yeah.
And she's not in a bad way. She just knows that you and I just go.
Yeah. She's like, okay, well, and same here. Tatum's like, oh, Kevin's back, huh? Like, yeah. How can you tell? Well, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, okay. Well, at least you know I'm not out doing other things.
Yeah.
That could be a lot worse.
Definitely.
But no, that's fun. Both of those are going to be super nice to be done.
Yeah.
But then we'll also get in a situation where we're going to be like, well, what's our next project? What's the next thing to do?
Next 80%er.
Exactly. Where can I get 80% next?
In the ambulance, the last thing I'm going to try to do with this is, it is 11,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So fire roads are great as long as I stay on the fire road. The edges of the fire road might be a little challenging. We'll see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
But if all goes well, I should be able to pack 10 bikes.
That's awesome.
So I have the
6 on the back.
Lolo rack on the back with 6,
Right.
and I should be able to put 4 under the bed that I'm built, the platform bed.
That's awesome.
So I'll have 3 to 4 inside. Once I start building, I'll find out if I can squeeze 4.
Right.
And I'm doing it without having to take off handlebars and just the front wheel. I'm not trying to take the bike apart every time.
Right. Well, that makes Whistler trips fun, extra fun. That makes, it's crazy how many places we go that we bring way more bikes than people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's Keller and I here today, and I brought 3 bikes.
Right. Well, and now, I mean, we go places, we'll take the e-bike, we'll take all of our trail bikes, and crews will want to bring a dirt jumper.
Yep.
Or maybe we'll bring both dirt jumpers. And so all of a sudden we can go from having 5 bikes to easily 8 or 9, and they'll all get ridden.
Yep.
The scary part about that is, they're not all ridden at the same point, and so sometimes it's like I don't want to bring more bikes because I don't want to have to babysit more bikes.
Or pack them in and out.
Right. So if anyone's trying to look for some idea of how to, really well secure a bike, there's a $1 million idea right there, because it's so hard right now, mountain bikes are getting stolen all over the place. It's just hard to keep them all
In your build, how many are you going to fit? Because I know in my ambulance, inside, I should have 3 beds. Well, 2 in the back bed, the platform bed. Mm-hmm. I should have another one. And then for now, I'll probably have a cot down the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just lay down on the cot. But
So as far as sleeping wise, in our build, we're going to have it's not really a loft bed, but we're going to have a queen bed that can be put all the way to the ceiling when it's not in use, and then drop down when we use it. And then we're going to do folding bunk beds on the wall, one wall, and then we're going to have a couch that's going to be sleepable. So we'll have basically a spot for all 5 of us in our family to have a spot to be. And then of course we have the bed that's in the back of the van, that if we ever bring someone else with us, or we're just sick of our kids, we either throw them in the van, or Tatum and I say, see ya.
that's the master bedroom
Exactly.
right there.
Yep. Except for the downside to that bed is it's a true full, and actually a little bit narrower than a full. And in the van build, there's going to be a full queen, plus we're going to have quite a bit of space on the ends, just the way that we have to put everything in.
Yeah.
So space-wise, it might be one of those where, Cruz, you're driving me nuts. You're sleeping in the van, and everyone else
I don't want
is
to.
fine. Exactly. For him, that's the worst punishment ever. He's one of those kids that to punish him is to have him been sent by himself versus being in everyone else, with everyone else. Where for me, I'm pretty happy being, okay, see ya, I'll go
to the bedroom.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Done. Whatever.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, dang it. My punishment would be, hey, you have to hang out here longer with everyone else.
You're not allowed to work on your build for 2 days.
Exactly. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Which would get me, it would be hard. So it's it's gonna be, it should be super nice. I mean, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm excited to see it done, honestly. And I know I've already said that 3 or 4 times, but that's where I'm kind of at. I'm just excited to see it done.
I think both our builds, even if we're 80%ers, I don't see them ever getting done, because there's always something new and different. I was actually just checking out your van, because I have an E450, right? I was like, oh, those are the headlights that you're talking about. I need to order those. Yeah. And I need a new front bumper, because mine has a whole bunch of holes everywhere in it, because they had placards all through it.
Oh, really?
Probably hazardous waste and, whatever. there's holes throughout my entire lower bumper.
Oh.
So maybe I could just order the new trim, or anybody want to give me a good deal on an off-road bumper, hit me up.
Right.
Those are hard to find.
Oh, well, hard to find at a price that, I don't know, that's not outrageous.
Over $1,000.
Right.
Or the build your own starting at $600, but you still have to do all the welding and fitting and cutting and make that. How's that? $600. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant scheme, but
it's a great marketing plan, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if I thought of it first and we had enough people wanting to buy them, heck yeah, I'd figure out a way to cut those pieces out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's super hard. And I mean, to truly build your own, like, I just don't feel like I have the skills to do that. I could figure it out, I think, but I'd spend a lot more time and money figuring it out.
And over this last couple of weeks too, I sold my Evil Insurgent.
Nice.
But just the frame.
Yeah.
The guy offered me money for it, and I accepted it. It's being ridden somewhere in Spokane. He was actually at the races.
Sweet.
I don't know if we ever talked or not, but it was actually kind of cool. So that's where that bike's at. And in the meantime, I was able to build up 2 different Transition TR11s.
Those are pretty.
I wasn't going to get one for myself, but I walked in there to get one for Keller, and Transition's rad. Steve up there runs a show up there for the shop or for the store, and he's just an amazing human being. Gave me a good deal on Keller's frame, and because there's no complete bikes anywhere.
Right.
And he's like, "Well, don't you want another one?" Nah. And then the price was right.
Right.
So I finished building Keller's first, which is fun because I built his. He wanted a blacked out look, so he got the black frame. Mm-hmm. I was able to find part deals on his bike. Everything I bought for his was a super deal. Like, I scored so good on that bike.
Especially now, that's insane.
Yeah, I got so lucky. And then came to my bike.
Yeah.
And I think I paid more for my fork than I did for my frame. I don't know, something like that.
Something like that. Well, that's still not bad, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's.
But then everything else worked out pretty well on that. It was kind of fun. It's kind of like doing our builds, right? That's what it was. It's trying to search for the part and then trying to find a deal and then trying to, it was just kind of a fun build. So I currently do not own a trail bike, which is the first time ever.
Weird.
I'm looking for a Transition Scout, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You haven't really decided?
No. Keller has it at Patrol, so I've ridden that a handful of times. Mm-hmm. And I think we shouldn't get another Patrol. We should get something different. Let's get a Scout.
Right.
And 27.5's rule. I am not
29er for life.
I still can't get to the 29ers. I've ridden them. There's fun. They're fast. You lose a little bit of playfulness coming from the BMX background. I think is where I'm stuck. 4 years from now, I won't have a choice.
Right.
Because they're gonna be 33s by then.
Oh, at least 42s.
But no, so it was just kind of fun building those up and just, it's just been kind of a crazy, hectic, almost 3 weeks, 4 weeks for me. Just kind of busy. Right. Still doing Loam Lander every day, still doing all that, but it's just been like all over the place.
Right.
Squirrel moments every single day.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not, I mean, we have our normal lives and stuff that we are still fitting in, and once again, this is a fun adventure, and but like I said earlier, I think for me sometimes that refresh, and then truly it wasn't a non-refresh, but it was just kind of the summer moments hit, and you sometimes need to have that time to just think about other stuff. So no, Loam Lander is still alive and well. Still, we have sold several bags over the past several weeks.
A lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of good things in the works. In fact, to be honest, I don't think we ever had any lull of Loam Lander from what we were already working on. But for some reason, it didn't feel as intense as it had pre.
I think just us building it up, getting it going, planning it out, like every step that we've had to do and the challenges, and we still have the challenges, shipping mainly.
Right.
But it's almost the expected challenge now, to where before it was like fire drill times, right?
Right.
The whole Bentonville trip, we've talked about that. Air freighting from China. Don't recommend that.
No.
We almost did it. But like, those are more expected, so you and I both take it in differently. Mm-hmm. And we got the business together. We got the business up and running. We got the insurance. Like, we got things lined up now to where if this happens, okay, this is what we need to do. Mm-hmm. And we're still working on stuff, and it's always evolving, and there's some new projects, and we're still working on some designs, trying to tweak a few things. And so there's always that, but it's just, hey, we got it going.
Right.
And I think that's what took away a lot of the.
I think so too. I mean, we know what our product line is. We have it developed in a way that we trust it and we like it. Now, is it going to remain the same forever? Absolutely not. We can't ever keep it. Stagnant to me is not ever what we want it to be. But we feel very excited and comfortable with where things are at right now.
Yeah.
There are a few little things like you talked about that we're still, tweaking here and there. And that was a big part of this get started, is to get a product line that we love and we trust and that we expect our customers to love and trust and be excited about and be comfortable on, and all the other things that go along with having a good quality product. But yeah, to have some of that stuff to kind of run in the background like it should is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's always going to improve. It's always going to get better. We'll just keep on enjoying it.
It's a blast.
It is. It's super fun.
What else do we have going on? I mean, you should follow some of our industry partners, right? I mean,
Right.
we got Sweet Lines. If you follow them, check out their airbag.
Yeah.
It's so fun watching our customers riding their airbag. So
It
if
is.
you bought an airbag from us, please constantly send us videos and we'll share them.
Absolutely.
Rad Bikes has some killer shots. Galvus Gravity has some killer shots. Dan and Chris Hopner.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
That was awesome.
The Jimbo. And,
Right.
and they have this cool property and they just posted they're having burgers and jumping. I think it's perfect. It's like the perfect day. And I know there's a handful of others and I know I'm missing them, but it's just it's just a lot of fun to hear about this. And
It is. I mean, it brings to me a little bit of validity as far as what we do and how we do it, but also it's just so fun to see other people excited.
Yeah.
And how can you not get excited about an airbag? I mean, honestly, if you're not excited about it, you need to come ride one, and then you'll get excited about it because they're just super fun. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of a good little catch up. I mean, I can't think of a whole lot more. I mean, honestly, we could talk for hours and hours, but for this podcast, I feel like that's pretty good.
And let's try to do it in person as much as possible.
I know, for sure. This is way easier.
I'm tired of COVID. I know everybody is. It is what it is.
Right.
Not taking either side.
Right. But I'm ready for it to be done.
Let's be in person.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. I totally agree with that. Well, with that, I think Loam Lander, we're out.
I'll see you later.